Aragon goes to war. We unify Italy, and I double in size. The world is a mess, and that's how you know that we are coming back to Victoria 2. Actually, I don't know if I can say coming back to Victoria 2 because I didn't play this game on this channel. And today I'm not only playing with Divergence of Darkness, which means that, you know, France and England are unified because the Plantagenets won and the Burgundians survived, and Muscovy never managed to really defeat Novgorod, so that means that the hordes still exist in the east, and China didn't close itself to the world and just kind of collapse into chaos. Means that now we have India mainly dominated by the Mughals and I guess the 𝙧𝙖𝙧𝙖𝙬𝙧𝙧. Our friends in Portugal had one of their princesses marry the Spanish king, and so they unified, but because it's Spain, they lost their colonies and now they are all in a massive full revolt, and now we have a three-way Cold War between the Belgian Confederacy, which it is exactly what it sounds like, just a lot of Belgians that fled the oppression of the Burgundians, Plantagenet, which was a Franco-Angloi colony, and Vinland, which is a nation that was created by the Scandinavia, which managed to keep the Kalmar Union alive, which led to all of these cultures becoming a Scandinavian unified one that to this day survives, except for the Finnish, because of course they're still not Scandinavian, right? Over here as Aragon, we are kind of limited to the Mediterranean, so that means that we are bound to have a very strong navy. We will begin by researching ideological thought. This will give us another national focus point which we'll be able to use to incentivize a certain population to grow in percentage. Right now I'm focusing on growing the amount of clergymen in my nation so that I can get more literacy. We can choose a trade policy, but because our ruling party is conservative, it doesn't give us access to the one that I want. We also get to see the history of Aragon, which goes back all the way to 1162, and over here it tells us about the various wars and whatnot that influenced the fate of our nation over here. And this is a larger block of text, but what you want to know is that there was a threat of a revolutionary republic forming in Italy which would unify the nation and thus kick us out of the peninsula about 3 decades ago, but we managed to crush that. Alfonso VI, which was supposed to be the heir of Alfonso V, died last September in 1835, like 4 months ago. The guy only having ruled for like 44 days. This only left the throne to his daughter Maria, and now there's a lot of controversy due to her luxurious tastes. And thus the House of Serna was born as a royal family to continue the legacy of Alfonso V, for we desire to create a Mediterranean lake, a dream shared by the Romans and the Latin Empire, from which we draw our descent. With the rapidly declining Ottomans and with Italy in our pockets, our dream of such an empire may very well come soon. In a world of total monarchies, we are a bastion of liberalism and constitutionalism, with our people valuing particularly much their freedom. We will seek to liberate the peoples of the Mediterranean and bring civilization and rights to them. I'll also begin by disbanding my infantry battalions, since, well, I'm gonna get my infantry for mobilization, I just need more artillery and cavalry. Also, taxes are being brought up at the start because I need to get this nation up quickly. Maximum tariffs, sure. Also, we are getting elections and we are gonna spam them in order to make our population more liberal in their beliefs. As you can see, I hold most of the Italian states, but there are still a few states which I still need to bring into the fold. And so I'll go for Tuscany and start influencing them. And also, I will start building factories in them and give them military access, which is an extra 10 points of relations with them, which increases the influence even further. As a naval power, I'm also gonna focus on building up my ports around the Mediterranean, on the coast of Barcelona and also on the coast of North Africa, where we have recently pushed back the Muslim degenerates back into the deserts of Libya and Morocco. I also have to remember that I do own the island of Sicily, or Malta over here, which has 4,000 people, which I know is absolutely amazing. Venice over here actually managed to survive, and it looks pretty much like it does in EU4. So I will help them to protect themselves from Muslim aggression from the east. And increase relations with the Tuscans. Soon I'll be able to add them to my sphere. Also, you might notice that the world is a globe, which I particularly enjoy, but if you're not into that, what you can do is just switch back to a normal map, which I guess also looks nice. And if you want to make this look even better, you can introduce some names. Another thing that I'll do is I'll use the leadership points generated by my officers in order to generate more generals. The role of these generals will be, well, to serve in my army, and if I'm lucky, I may get some very good ones. I'm also going to delete my frigates because realistically I'm not going to be able to fight toe to toe with the Dual Monarchy and whatnot. And mainly I'm just going to be focusing on building up clipper convoys because in the Mediterranean you never ever have enough to effectively move your army quickly. Now that I have a healthy reserve of money, I'll just drop taxes as low as possible and bring tariffs down to the ideal of around 0. I used my navy to quickly get my troops across the Mediterranean. I also turned on the classic fonts. I don't know, there's just something about them. They just got on me. I'll build some hussars and then just a lot of artillery, and then I'll just combine it with all the mobilized stacks I'll get. Add Tuscany to my sphere and then immediately move on to Modena. Ooh, maybe we could get ourselves an island in the Persian Gulf. Let's see. No island? Come on, I wanted an island like a trade outpost into the Indian subcontinent. More generals and more admirals. This will be one of the things I will be repetitively doing throughout this campaign. Also, I need more clergy, more research points. Add Parma to my sphere, and then there are only about 3 states left to take. And I think the game crashed. Yep, the game just crashed. Thankfully, I can just start game, load save, and now I'm back. Yes, that's really how quick it is. That's a very nice thing though. I think the game crashed again. Okay, I might have to restart this campaign. The game seems to be okay, but a way to make sure the game doesn't crash again midway through this year is just to save a drop around June, July. Also, another thing that I just discovered is that if I press shift, I can put these technologies in order. I literally just found out because I just read the text that said press shift to add to queue, and this is amazing. I never knew this. I just discovered it this video. Also, more clergy. The sun of liberty shines upon our nations as our free countrymen produce innovations in technology and science and industry every single day. Instead of taking the path of the autocratic nations, we shall give the praises to the hard workers that wake up every day in our nation. God bless them. And what would you know? The autocrat, the parasite, the leech that takes away the laborers' hard-earned money, has been exposed once again for their depravity. Since Naples now has 2.3% clergymen, I'm just going to remove this focus here and move it to Valencia. Again, more generals and admirals. Just spam the hell out of this. Let's get our armies from North Africa and Malta and start moving them to Barcelona, where we'll have to fight the Dual Monarchy in the future. It might seem like a small thing, but it's like so nice that I can do this actually. I can just queue up these technologies so I don't have to worry about taking them at the perfect time in the future. Just Genoa left and we'll be able to unify Italy. And in the last few years, the reforms that our party has enacted has turned our nation from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional one, and it will only be so long until the people are enfranchised even further. I have enough clergymen in this state, so I'm just going to move them to Campania to get more bureaucrats. Since if I can get more administrative efficiency, I can get rid, for example, of the mafia over here and make it a nice, lawful province. Now I can add Genoa to the sphere, and this will unlock the following decision that we can take. Because for centuries now, the crown of Aragon has been a more and more dominant force over the Italian peninsula. We are now strong enough over the various Italian states to proclaim the dual kingdom of Aragon and Italy. But let us beware, for the other powers of Europe may grow wary of us, and they may wish for our demise. Because our unification of Italy has destabilized and disrupted the world order. Oh, and now Spain and the Dual Monarchy and Granada declared war on me to cut me down to size. So that means I'll just have to mobilize and increase the conscription time. I guess I'm deaf warring already, might as well go for it. Considering my capital is in Rome, I think I will flee this place quickly. See ya, I'm fleeing to Italy and bring up the military spending to get to save our nation from the imminent collapse. Also, I'm just gonna take a nice road to Venice and just ask them if they want to share some cake. I have to turn off the classic font because I can't tell just how big my army is. Oh, I think we actually have numerical superiority. We have to go on the attack as quickly as possible. Generate more generals and then put a 3 attack general in charge. We are going to attack and demolish Spain. And we are crushing Spain. Come on, Spain, you cannot stop us. Let's just quickly siege down Spain a bit to make them learn their damn lesson. Do not mess with us. And push into southern France. I'm gonna screw Spain over. I'm taking Cartagena and also Granada. I'm also gonna take that state to make sure Spain learns its damn lesson. I already captured Madrid. Now I'm just gonna continue sieging them down and getting their war exhaustion up. Also, there are 90,000 troops in northern Italy which I'll have to take care of. Continue sieging down Spain, and I think I need to rush a bit for Paris to make sure the Dual Monarchy learns its damn lesson. Yeah, that was us. We lost 230,000 casualties. We nearly lost everything, and that was their army wiped out. Now I can continue to push, and we have taken Paris. And we have also destroyed like the last major army that the Dual Monarchy had. There you go. Now they are down to 14 brigades, and I'm just gonna quickly carpet siege their nation a bit. Just take a few provinces. This is what peak Victoria 2 looks like, just constantly clicking on armies and moving them around. And microing like 8 different armies even when you could just end the war because you have enough war score already. I'll get their war exhaustion up a bit. I feel like they deserve this for attacking my poor nation in such a vile manner. Absolutely abhorrent. There you go, the Dual Monarchy is ruined. The #1 great power stands like destroyed. And I'll peace out for my 2 provinces, thank you very much. Oh, I just realized we did actually get a port in like the Middle East or the Persian Gulf. They gave us this island over here. You know what? For that I will help you. Let me be your ally. I will help you. You're at war with the Ottomans? Sure, I will help you deal with that. I hate the Ottomans too. I will help you get access to all the goods you will ever need. I will improve relations with you and get you in here. Just give me the call to arms. And now it is time to take care of the breakaway state of Lombardia and put down this failed Italian experiment of independence, as the streets of northern Italy have broken up into open rebellion against us, with our Roman garrisons managing to capture back the city. This shall be a fight to determine the future of our very nation, and we shall crush them. We are pushing up north, meeting little to no resistance as we crush what remnants remain of the revolutionary army. They are fortifying their positions around Milan as we are preparing one final offensive to root them out. But in a turn of events, the Lombard Republic decided to take the initiative. Now we will march on Milan as we destroy the last remnants of their army. With the city captured, we shall demand their subjugation. But they refused, and because of this, the rest of the nation will need to be burnt to ensure the loyalty of its treacherous peoples. And then give them all the rights they deserve, of course. Now the Lombardians are more willing to negotiate, and they have sent their terms of surrender. And now our nation is unified. We shall also subsidize our Middle Eastern friends to help them in their fight of independence against the Ottomans, even though they are a tad bit outnumbered really. Now we can finally demobilize and allow our people to rest, because the last few years have been tumultuous to say the least. Now let's continue our campaign of building up these ports around the Mediterranean. In Rome and in Venice and everywhere we go, the sea is on our side and we shall rule over it. With the defeat of the Milanese, our nation is ascendant. On the 21st of October 1844, which shall go down in history as a tremendous day for our people. As our troops marched triumphantly to the Porta Giovia in Milan, it is clear that the foredawn bid for freedom by the Lombard Republic was no more than a foolish illusion, with Milanese armies routed and the oligarchy that supported them subjugated. No obstacles remain from direct rule from Barcelona of northern Italy, under closer supervision of our bureaucrats. Now we can finally bring back military spending once again and allow our economy to thrive, as it always should have. And what would you know? The treacherous dual monarchy and Spain have once again declared war on our peaceful nation, and thus we are obliged to once again mobilize. The Spanish army is not a threat to us. This was another glorious victory for our army, as they inflicted 90,000 casualties on the enemy. Get used to this, because the dual monarchy and Spain are gonna declare war on us a lot. A ridiculous amount of times, considering just how many times we curve stomped them. We will once again burn down Paris to the ground because they refuse to leave our peaceful nation alone. Never mind like 20 infamy. Our peaceful people alone. Let them be. We have surrounded Paris and we have our artillery prepared to fire and bring hell upon the city. The only thing that the dual monarchy has to do is to surrender and to accept a white peace. And because they refused, we shall crush Paris and burn it all the way to hell, where the French and Anglos deserve to be. Now our enemies are willing to accept the peace they should have followed from the start, and now we can hopefully demobilize without the fear of being attacked again. But in the meantime, the provinces seized from Spain have gone into full open revolt. Ooh, we have also been given an interesting offer from our ally to help them in their unification of their region. They are facing off against Iraq and 𝐕𝐴𝐺 and also Oman. I will send one of my armies to help them in the Middle East. We shall liberate them and bring freedom to the region. A very sad fact about our nation is that in recent years, it has seen a lot of workers that have been the backbone of our nation being oppressed by the capitalists and managers. Now we shall legalize trade unions under the supervision of the government to make sure this mistreatment is not seen again. And for the third time in 10 years, we find ourselves at war with Spain and the dual monarchy again, as we re-mobilize for the third time so that we can stop their aggression. They have no armies, they have no money left in their treasury. They are pathetic and we shall crush them again, and this time we shall not tolerate anything less than total victory. Our troops have nearly arrived in Iraq to help them, and we will first go to take down Oman. This time there shall be no mercy like last time. We shall drag this war as long as it's needed, and we shall teach that Aragon is not a power to be messed with like this. While liberty and autonomy for our citizens is the main objective, we also have to acknowledge that a strong government is the only one that can right now build the important infrastructure that shall be the base for our industrialization. This treachery simply cannot be tolerated. We shall take every single city and village that supplies the dual monarchy and Spanish war effort. Now let us land in Iraq and defeat what remains of their army. We will also try getting more naval bases. We also need to try and get biologism as soon as possible, since that unlocks Darwinism, which gives us a massive 50% education bonus. This was enough. Now I'm willing to sign a white peace. Hopefully these nations learned their lesson and know better now than to attack me and our nation. Horror as shock as Arab tribes cross the border and invade our colony in North Africa. Now it is time to finally stop this once and for all, and we will fight against the heathens to the very last man. The Arabs are retreating and we are gaining new lands and provinces. The Arabs stand no chance. We continue pushing on into North Africa. As mentioned before, we will finally go through with our promises and bring about a free press, independent from government intervention. We will annex the Maghreb. Finally, North Africa is stable under our rule. And with the end of North Italian autonomy, we can also properly integrate them. And while the Venetians are not part of our cultures, they are Italians, and thus they will be brought into the fold, together with their Ionian and Greek holdings. We are also working on expanding our naval capabilities even further to truly make the Mediterranean our lake. We should divide the new territories between the various nations whose holdings were impacted by this rebellion. But like, why? As we are the ones who have defeated the Maghreb Caliphates, our nation now stands as the most prestigious in the world. With 210 prestige, that is stupid. We could intervene on the side of Assam against Bengal. Sure, why not? Oh, they immediately gave independence to Assam. Sorry, Bengal, or Benin is just what needs to be done. Now we can also integrate Venice and organize the Terra de Oro, or our holdings in North Africa basically. Now we can finally choose a favorable trade policy, which shall be a free one of tariffs. We have also decided to open our borders to bring all the oppressed peoples of Europe into a free, liberal democracy, to search for a new life. Oh, how surprising the treacherous dual monarchy took our brothers in Navarra and conquered them and subjugated them. Well, there was enough peace. Now it is time to go to war once again. And they even have the gall to demand that we renounce our claims to Navarra. We shall not do so. We shall fight to the end. We may have suffered 460,000 casualties to their 230,000, but we still won and crushed them. It's time to once again teach the dual monarchy an important lesson. And for the 4th time this century we have defeated the dual monarchy, because they never learn. I have 500 brigades, this is so stupid and I love every second of it. Now we have finally won the war, and we will keep everything we have gained. We now stand as the main Iberian power, and also as the #1 great power. God, that's good. Even though some in the parliament claim that these social reforms will impose unfair restrictions on our businesses, it has to be done for the rights of our laborers. Now we will also send an ultimatum to the 𝐕𝐈𝐂𝐈𝐈 kingdom, and if they are smart they will surrender, which they did, and because of that we shall annex them. And now we can also organize our territories in Numidia and Libya to better hold on to them. Oh my, Aragonese Italian Africa. Yes, beautiful. Well, it seems like Oman decided to kill some of our missionaries, so we are going to have to teach them a quick lesson. Now I will add Oman to my sphere, and I also don't want them in my sphere because I don't care about them. So I'm just going to leave now. I just destroyed the Middle Eastern nation just to then leave. See ya! Since we fought to liberate the Navarrans, now they are willing to join us as brothers, and we now accept them as one of our cultures. But we also got cores on the dual monarchy, which we shall acquire. And we have literally just discovered the primitive ancient bones near Dusseldorf, which is giving us a lot of prestige around the world. The idea is to get about half as many capitalists as you have officers. So since I have 34,000 officers, I would like to get 17,000 capitalists. Now it is time to finally bring down the dual monarchy. God, they're attacking me so much. They just lost 270,000 troops, and I'm just gonna attack them again. This is the beginning of our campaigns. We shall reclaim the provinces in Gaul and Spania. It's time to add some claims on Iberia and take Galicia. This is the 5th time that we occupy and defeat Spain, and they deserve every bit of it. Let's also mobilize. I may be becoming a bit too powerful. Now you're also occupying Germany because they stood against our righteous war. We are quickly pushing up and sieging Germany. In a couple of weeks they will be gone. Let's also take Leon Castile. And let's also add Douro and northern Portugal basically. And we will peace out Spain after we took a bit of their land. Outrageous! The international community has declared us a threat to the world and has put sanction of us. This is simply unacceptable. I just have like 1,100 brigades, only 3 million soldiers. The only thing that will be really limiting us from really conquering everything is just getting enough jingoism. If we can get enough jingoism, we can just conquer everything. I don't need anything else, just more jingoism. 30 jingoism? Yes! This is exactly what I needed. By the way, quiz time. Where do you think the capital of the South German Federation is? Is it A, in Frankfurt, B, somewhere over here in Bavaria, or C, somewhere in the mountains of Switzerland? If you chose C, that is correct, because apparently it is over here in western Switzerland for some reason. Now I will just peace out Germany for a relatively light peace deal. There you go, that should do pretty good. Just spamming more election events. I just need more jingoism. And I also could up like 8 different research texts. This is actually so nice. This is the first time I discovered it. It's so small. It is such a small detail, but I really like it. Burgundian diplomats approach our nation with an ultimatum to dismantle our Grand Republic immediately. Never. Oh, that's it. It's just Burgundy and Scandinavia. Pff, whatever. They only have 178 brigades. Oh, you're dead. You're dead. You're so dead. You're honestly so dead. Yep, and there goes the entirety of the Burgundian army. Now on to siege literally everything. 30% jingoism again? Okay, this is really good luck. This is really good luck. Thank you, game. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I would absolutely take it. Because of that event, I can finally move on. The campaigns into Gallia have been successful, and we have managed to conquer most of the lands from the savages living here, and our holdings in the west have greatly expanded. God bless our empire. The role of our Grand Republic isn't just to bring civilization to all lands encompassing our borders, but also to bring prosperity and freedom to the people we bring into the fold. The people of Venice have long benefited from the fact that they were protected by their waters, but with industrializations they have found themselves quite isolated from the mainland. Thus, a bridge to connect the island to the mainland will be constructed. And in conjunction, we will also put great efforts into modernizing the city, together with its hygiene system. Also, the fact that we have defeated the Muslim barbarians to the south means that now we can expand our holdings into the Libyan desert and bring in to the empire a grand total of like 5,000 people hoarding sheep and like making fruits. Even more jingoism. I'm getting lucky with these events. Now we will peace out Burgundy, and our holdings in Germania expand even further. And for whatever reason, these provinces defected from us back to the Dual Monarchy, and that simply cannot be tolerated. And now we are at war with pretty much all of Europe essentially. We are putting down the speed to 1 and we are micromanaging this all the way through. This is what you don't see. The like 10 minutes in which I just assign orders and take like a bunch of land. This is what you don't see in the video itself. Just clicking. Literally just clicking and watching provinces change color. Let's just charge like 350,000 conscripts into the entrenched enemy lines and see how it goes. Everybody should understand just how aggressive these foreign powers are being. The only war that we have declared is to take back our rightful course from the Franco-Angloi. And look at all these aggressors demanding so much of our lands from us. Unbelievable. Let's take some more provinces from Spain. And we have got a few rebellions. Right. We have won the battle against 80,000 Spaniards. We only lost 160,000 of our conscripts. Just sieging down the Hungarians over here. What do you mean the war effort is not going well? We have literally conquered all of Western Europe. We just have a few rebellions here and there. Like not even that much really. I am not surrendering, I don't care. Now we will pummel through Ottoman Balkans and restore the provinces of Danubia. There goes the Ottoman Balkans basically, together with their army. Apparently I'm losing the war even though I'm conquering and defeating while outnumbered. I was going to say that I was winning while being outnumbered, technically. But no, I have more brigades than everyone else combined. Granted, most of them are dead, but still. Oh, come on. That's bullshit. Why? Why am I losing the war? I'm not losing the war. What? Fine, I'm gonna peace out with Spain and I'm gonna peace out with the Dual Monarchy, sure. Screw you. Apparently I'm somehow losing this war. I don't know how that works, but apparently I'm doing that. That's BS. That's such bullshit. Just like the Romans, we will build the infrastructure from which prosperity will emerge in these new lands. I desperately want more railways just so that I don't have to split my army into a million different divisions just for it not to die of attrition. Please, this is a call for help. Help build the Aragonian Italian railways. Alright, the Polo-Lithuanians are here, but we are still at peace. What kind of timing is that? I was literally saying, we are at peace. Immediately the entirety of Europe declares war on me. This time there will be absolutely no mercy. I'm telling you this. Literally after I spent all the time just trying to organize my army and make it not die of attrition, right then they decide to attack me. Screw you, game. And now I will siege down Germany and Burgundy again. I'm just setting up a defensive line to just stop the hordes from pouring in from the east. Alright, so it wasn't only that the game crashed, but my computer completely blue screened. But because I was recording this in MKV format, it meant I lost literally nothing. It is all okay, we can continue from here. If you're wondering why I'm so calm about this, is because playing Victoria 2 like this will teach you to have the patience of a saint, because otherwise you would literally explode by playing this game. Now the defensive line is all set up. They cannot go west of this line. Literally everything to the east is just at war with us. If we advance anywhere to the east, it is literally just total war there. Now I will just take a few more provinces from Spain, and this leaves them with only their capital over here, which I'll take later. But I am still, remember, at war with all of Europe. So that's fun. I feel like abolishing capital punishment is a really bad idea. It's one of the things limiting rebellions from getting worse, but well, it has to be done. Literally, first objective, just build up railways everywhere. If we don't have the infrastructure, we'll just die of supply. Literally build infrastructure everywhere. I was not joking, I'm upgrading infrastructure and railways literally everywhere, because dealing with supply problems is just something I'm not going to deal with. No, just no. It takes 2 minutes to do, and it will make the pain slightly less worse. I also need to encourage more bureaucrats to be created, because my empire is expanding, my Grand Republic is expanding quite quickly. Well, like half the nation revolted except for North Africa. I'm actually really impressed with my colonies. They've been so peaceful, really. Maybe I shouldn't have put taxes to the maximum. I'll just conquer Geneva, and I will work on taking some more provinces from the Dual Monarchy. Yes, more railway. This is like economic simulator disguised as a war game. 30%. Okay, the game loves me. For whatever reason, it just decided, here's just some more jingoism for you. At this point in the game, it is just about staring at this, and when it's no longer colored, you just press it again for more jingoism. I could just trigger an event repeatedly, just give me jingoism. I've tested, I could absolutely do that right now and spare me a lot of time and suffering. But I'm a purist at heart. Now I can just also take some lands from Burgundy and also some from Germany. We will also take Westphalen. We will annex Bosnia. Well, literally just Bosnia. Croatia is still over here. I don't know why, but just being able to set up this research like this is so calming. Until the game crashes, and because of that, these orders are no longer in order. So I'll just have to make them again. Now I can peace out the Dual Monarchy and have a few moments of peace. I'm still at war, but I expanded quite a bit in the west. I wonder, can I take this Orthodox Liberal School of Thought for trade? And I think we've been declared war upon again, yes. And also Spain joined, what a mistake. We'll also just annex Croatia because... Oh, I just realized that I seem to be at war with just about half the world. The Chinese, the Japanese, the Russian, pretty much everyone, really. I'm so glad that I can unite all of these different nationalities behind a common cause. Look at this, our industrial power is unrivaled. This shows why liberalism is the best economic system. How else would you have achieved this? Considering that we are constantly in a state of total war, our nation is surprisingly stable. I will also need to launch a quick invasion of Cuba, just, you know, to be able to take out Spain, because they have more land overseas than they do in Europe now. God, I don't think you're supposed to play Victoria this game. I've just turned it into 𝙧𝙖 again with front lines and whatnot. Let's also go on a little adventure to the Caribbean. Yep, just a few islands taken over here. The Burgundians fleet was hiding over here. Well, let's hope they just brought 300 ships from nowhere. Get the hell out. They're not retreating. Yeah, they're gonna die. Whatever. Let's peace out with Burgundy for a few more lands. Let's get the Dual Monarchy out of here for some lands in Britain. You know what, I'm launching a South American campaign. Good day, citizen. It is with great shame that I must announce that the Polish and Russian, like, Victorian cyber hackers attacked our recording equipment and made the rest of the footage effectively unusable, because the in-game sound was just turned up to 11, and so it meant it was just a constant stream of factories being built in the background and armies being assembled. And thus from here I will orate the rest of the story. First, we reassembled our navy from Sardinia and smashed the Scandinavian fleets in the Caribbean. We went on an island hopping campaign, capturing several small islands in the Caribbean, ports on the coast of West Africa and South Africa, and even capturing Spanish colonies in the Indian Ocean. With these occupations, we gained enough war score to fully annex Spain and put an end to their miserable existence as a nation. From here we began a push into Scandinavia, through Holstein, Schleswig, into Denmark and Jutland. We captured the capital of Scandinavia, Copenhagen, and then pushed into Sweden itself, advancing north and capturing Stockholm. And after that we proceeded to humiliate the Scandinavian Empire by enforcing a massive peace deal upon them, taking Denmark, the populated southern parts of Norway, and also southern Sweden, forever crippling the Lion of the North. Since most European nations were now at peace with us, only the foolish Orientals thought that they stood a chance against us. It only took our navy to surround and blockade the entire Japanese nation for them to surrender and accept our superiority, with their Chinese dogs quickly following in their steps in signing a peace treaty with us. We then took our navy across the Pacific to a grueling journey to enact the same punishment upon Vinland, blockading and crippling their economy, with Vinlandian diplomats suddenly having been surprisingly eager to sign a peace treaty with us, and thus our Grand Republic found itself at peace after several years of total war on the continent. In the meantime, our explorers continued bravely journeying into the frozen wastelands of the north, with Aragonese Italian explorers having been the first ones to reach the North Pole. This brought the prestige and glory of our nation to even greater heights. Just a few mere moments later, we found ourselves at war with the whole continent once again. Our defensive line was besieged and attacked on all angles by the invading barbarians from the east, but they held and pushed them back. The Danube ran red with the blood of the hundreds of thousands of Ottomans and Aragonese Italians that were slain in those battles. Oh, those battles, those bloody battles. We swiftly sent an army to help the beleaguered garrison, and in a couple of massive engagements, the Ottoman army was utterly destroyed. Then a massive push ensued as our armies, high on morale after their victories, stormed through Serbia, Bulgaria, Wallachia, and all the way into Istanbul. In North Africa, the situation destabilized as the Egyptians started their push into Libya and then into Tunisia. We quickly sent an expeditionary force and managed to push them back, occupying Egypt and the Nile Delta, and subsequently pushing into the Sinai and into Ottoman Iraq and Syria. The Ottoman armies were overextended and were unprepared for our sudden push from the south. We stormed Anatolia, taking Kyrgyzstan and seizing the Ottoman capital of Ankara. It was also around this time that the Latin Republic signed a peace agreement with the Dual Monarchy, taking what remained of their holdings in England and Ireland, leaving only them as a rump state in Paris. The Scots were also stripped of the Highlands, having been taken as a strategic naval base in the North Sea. The Ottomans were also cracking under the pressure as new reinforcements arrived and swept what remained of Anatolia. The Egyptians and Ottomans, tired and humiliated, accepted to finally surrender, totally and utterly. We seized the Suez and the Nile from the Egyptians, and we took most of the Slavic holdings of the Ottoman Empire. In those peace negotiations, our Grand Republic took Trebizond, using it as a platform to discourage the Ottomans or the Azerbaijanis from ever deciding to join against us in any future wars. With the lack of an Ottoman ally to the south, the Hungarians quickly buckled, together with the Slovaks, Bratislava and Budapest falling in just a few short weeks. The Hungarians were stripped of Vojvodina, with the remnants of their army barely able to keep their country from collapsing totally and utterly into anarchy. While war was raging in Europe, archaeologists were doing their best to search and discover the mysteries of the past. And after years of work, their effort bared fruit as they uncovered the face of Agamemnon, an ancient relic that, even in a period of total war, made the news internationally, as the Latin armies quickly stormed once again through Denmark, and forcing the Scandinavian government to accept total surrender, handing control of effectively all of Sweden, Norway and Denmark to our republic. The only nation that dared to keep on fighting was the Belgian Confederacy, which quickly, just like their brothers in Vinland to the north, found themselves blockaded on all sides, quickly accepting to sign a white peace. In this short period of peace, the armies of the Latin Republic were reorganized and reassembled. But even this break from constant war was not to be, for the remaining imperial powers of the continent formed a massive coalition once again to face and try to bring down our nation. If the last war was called a massacre, then this one could not have been considered anything less than the total destruction of the European imperial powers at the hands of our Latin Empire. Nationalist elements rallied around the flag and called for the total dismemberment of the autocratic dictatorships that surrounded us on all sides. What remained of the British Isles under Scottish and dual monarchy control quickly fell, together with the remnants of Burgundy. The Germans tried putting up a fight, but with most of their nation integrated, they did not stand a chance. Massive offensives were organized to push into Pomerania and Stettin, and also Bohemia. It is approximated that at this time the army rose to be somewhere at around 6 million soldiers serving the empire. The Scots, maddened by their loss, fell to fascism and nationalism. They put up an amazing fight for their size, but just like the rest, they were subdued. By this time, the previous great armies of Hungary and Poland and Bohemia were but a shadow of their former selves. The main efforts were not to push, but to hold a defensive line at the Elbe and Danube, while most resources would be spent into subjugating the Egyptian and Ottoman holdings in Anatolia and the Levant. The Ottomans amazingly managed to push back our armies at the gates of the Bosphorus, but that was merely a delay, as reinforcements quickly arrived and pushed them back. Interest in Eastern European lands around the Black Sea grew, with Moldova being seized and integrated as an imperial province. The Ottomans put up an impressive resistance, but with their allies weakened, they had no choice but to once again surrender and hand over even more land to be reorganized into imperial provinces in Anatolia. The war on the eastern fronts with the Bohemians, Hungarians and Polish degenerated into a guerrilla warfare, with our forces constantly having to manage attacks all over the front line. In these unstable times, the Russians also fell to fascism. They quickly seized the Baltics and Finland from the crumbling Scandinavian Empire, and we moved in to secure Stockholm, with the Black Sea being seen as the next great opportunity. The island of Crimea itself, together with small holdings in Ruthenia, were reorganized into imperial protectorates, and armies were stationed to protect them from the surrounding enemies on all sides. With the massively important island of Crimea seized, our armies connected our holdings in Anatolia and even pushed further, taking almost the entirety of the Caucasian mountains. The Azerbaijani armies were once again routed and pushed back, with their capital in the coastal city of Baku being captured. The Ottomans accepted to surrender northern Syria and were once again cut down even further down to size. Their Egyptian allies were quickly overrun, with the nation being particularly simple to subjugate, as the small fertile crest around the Nile allowed for effective control of the population in these regions. The Egyptians surrendered and they were only left with their capital in Alexandria and their desert in southern Egypt. It was at this time that massive revolts also started rocking the empire, having to be put down violently every single time, with effectively all of Anatolia being in open revolt until garrisons could be brought to deal with these. With this relative peace on the continent, we reorganized our armies once again, and after several reforms, consolidations, and the raising of new armies, the Grand Armada of our empire stood at 12 million soldiers serving the empire, being the most effective and disciplined army that the Mediterranean has seen in the last 2,000 years. with the reorganization of the nation finished, yet more offensives were launched in the remnants of the Ottoman Empire, their lands in the Levant having been conquered by their once subjugated Egyptian vassal. By this point, the Ottomans could not put up any resistance, and over the course of a few months, they were absorbed and brought into the fold of the empire, with Ankara being the last piece of Anatolia to be conquered by our empire. A reinvigorated Egypt with troops from the Levant tried putting up a valiant resistance, but they were inevitably pushed back, and just like their Ottoman counterparts, brought into the fold of the empire. Looking back, I wonder, why did we fight? What pushed millions of young men to lay down their life so that our empire may prosper and expand even further? And I think I realized why. Because it is beautiful. But this beauty comes from the fact that we know there was a time before where it did not exist. The reason why it is beautiful is because we know there will come a day where, just like all other empires, it will die. But the fact it will die one day is also what makes it so beautiful. The fact that it will stand in the history of humanity as a beacon of hope, as a beacon of civilization that shall forever cast a shadow for 100 generations from now on. The fact that its civilizing light will reach every corner and crevice of the planet and every single star and atom of matter in the whole universe is why it is so beautiful. The fact that even after we will be long gone, and we will be ashes with ashes and soil with soil, is why we rejoice in its beauty in the present. Without the death of the empires of old, there will be no room for the rise of ours. For without sin, there will be no redemption. For without suffering, there will be no enjoyment. That is why we fight. So that we may stand as a beacon of hope in humanity's long history, so that we may inspire future generations to push through their struggles and rise even higher than us. I know that one day our armies will be laid to waste. I know that one day our peoples will be scattered. I know that one day our empire will fall apart. And that is why I will take every second of my remaining human life and stretch it into a whole century, into a whole era, so that I may get to live 1,000 lives in this golden era of our empire. The world is a cruel mistress. Everything that I ever love and that I will ever love will be taken away from me. My memories and emotions and experiences will be cast forever down into the void of nothingness, in the void of infinity. For how much suffering I went through, death is a mercy, for it will prevent me from seeing everything that I hold close to my heart being ripped apart to the gods of change and chaos. I hope to see you next time, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye.